Chapter 2: Economic Transformation for Prosperity and Job Creation. Ghana's economy is structured around the export of raw materials. We still export our cocoa, gold, fruits, and our newfound oil in their raw state. We cannot indefinitely rely on this structure and these exhaustible resources to grow our economy and modernize our country. Despite recent claims of economic achievement, Ghanaians do not feel they are personally sharing in the benefits of growth. Instead, we are seeing growing unemployment and worsening macroeconomic indicators. We need to tackle this phenomenon of jobless growth in our economy. Furthermore, evidence now shows that in the past 3 years, Ghana has slipped backwards in its fight against poverty, despite favorable prices of our major export commodities of gold, cocoa, and oil. We cannot accept economic growth that does not create jobs and employment opportunities. The decline in the growth of the manufacturing and agricultural sectors and the corresponding rise of unemployment are clear signs that the productive sectors of our economy are laboring. We import so much of what we consume and use, despite being rich in natural resources. We export our cocoa to import chocolate. We export our wood to import toothpicks and furniture. We export our oil to import finished petroleum products. Meanwhile, our people cry for jobs. We cannot bring prosperity to our people just by exporting raw materials and importing them back as finished goods at higher cost. We can and must manufacture what we use and export as well. We need to and will transform the structure of the economy. Only by doing this can we modernize our economy and fully realize the full value of our natural resources. Transforming our economy will mean that instead of just exporting mostly natural resources and agricultural commodities, we will process and add value to our raw materials. We will diversify and move into higher value exports, and we will grow our economy by increasing our productivity. We will also include more science and technology in our economic activities, and will capitalize on our endowment and comparative advantage to develop export-oriented high growth and employment-creating products and services. We will, in short, industrialize our economy by increasing share of manufacturing in our total output. We will modernize our agriculture and make it efficient in supplying the food needs of our growing population and the raw material requirements of our industries. It is the private sector that will create opportunities and jobs for all through this mechanism, while government provides public goods and the regulatory and enabling environment to make this transformation happen. Government will also create jobs through public investment projects such as reforestation, road construction, and infrastructural development. Ghana has the natural resource, the human resources, and the potential to succeed. The strategy is as follows. 1. Planning matters. In our view, a major impediment to our country's economic growth and development is our weakness in planning and consistently implementing our development programs. Additionally, most of our development projects and programs are not integrated and coordinated, and therefore our infrastructure in many aspects is fragmented. Poor, fragmented, or no planning in our cities and towns has consequently resulted in arbitrariness in our developmental effort, resulting in poor distribution of resources, poor social structure, huge economic and business costs, and a consequent low quality of life. We will therefore strengthen and resource the National Development Planning Commission (NDPC) and use it as an organ for planning our economic transformation. We will accordingly harmonize and regulate all laws on land use planning, provide for sustainable development of land and human settlements through a decentralized planning system, ensure judicious use of land in order to improve quality of life, promote health, safety, and regulate national, regional, district, and local spatial planning, and generally deal with the spatial aspects of socio-economic development. We will restructure and enhance the capacity of existing planning agencies in order effectively to prepare and provide for spatial land use and human settlement planning components of the National Development Planning System, as may be required by government and the NDPC. New initiatives under the transformational program will include establishment of economic growth poles or economic clusters to fertilize integrated business growth and job creation. We shall undertake comprehensive mapping of the entire country with the objective of improving the planning and land tenure systems and bringing all lands under the formal sector, complete the national property addressing and national identification systems commenced during the Kufuor era, and secure a sustainable titling program to modernize our economy and support our economic transformation agenda. The Ghana Statistical Service has not been effective in providing information to support the planning needs of the country. It will be difficult to plan and implement our transformation agenda without timely and reliable data on social and economic conditions in the country. There is scarcity of data on employment, industry, agriculture, living standards, and many other critical indicators. We will address the capacity challenges of the Ghana Statistical Service and support it to achieve its role as an independent agency that collects and provides timely and reliable statistical information for all stakeholders. 2. Industrialization for economic growth and development. The current government has done very little to address the challenges facing our manufacturing sector, and industrial growth has declined. This has been due to a lack of vision and lack of clarity on a long-term national development objective. Under the present government, the share of manufacturing in industry has declined. In 2011, industry's share of GDP was only 6.7%. Industrialization is critical to solving our major socio-economic challenges of mass poverty, unemployment, and limited social mobility. The objective of our industrial policy is to promote increased competitiveness and industrial production. We will significantly expand the manufacturing sector, promote agro-based industrial development, and increase the technological capacity in the manufacturing sector, and significantly increase the share of manufacturing's contribution to GDP with the aim of achieving a 25% contribution in the medium term. We propose a new economy led and driven by competitive import substitution and an export-oriented industrialization policy in which we will add value to our natural resources and agricultural raw materials. Key to success of our dramatic shift to industrialization will be 1. Improving access to quality education, especially in science, technology, and research. 2. Increasing agricultural production and adding value to our products through agro-processing. 3. Supporting and promoting our businesses to be export-oriented and globally competitive. 4. Supporting and promoting our industries, especially small and medium-scale entrepreneurs and businesses, to be competitive in import substitution and exports. 5. Developing and adding value to our natural resources, including oil and gas, salt, gold, bauxite, iron ore, manganese, and our agricultural and horticultural products. 6. Promoting high-value services, including penetration of ICT services, financial services, education, health and tourism, all for which Ghana is competitive. 7. Supporting and making Ghana the pharmaceutical manufacturing center for the region and beyond. 8. Developing an aggressive infrastructure program focused on value for money integrated development planning. Ghana needs an integrated approach to improving power supply, housing, roads, railways, water, irrigation, ports, industrial centers, and refineries. 9. Improving significantly the infrastructure and the business environment to enhance the productive capacity of our SMEs. We believe that with prudent and disciplined management of our revenues, especially from oil and gas, and a strong partnership with the private sector, we will have the funding flexibility to implement fully our industrial policy in accordance with our transformation agenda. A trade policy that creates jobs. The lack of vision and confused objectives of the present government have made many of our businesses globally uncompetitive. We import much more than we export, and we have a tariff regime designed to maximize revenue, but which, in fact, damages local industry and as a result, Ghana's economy. The short-term revenue gains from such taxes are attained at the expense of long-term production and jobs. Consequently, many of our SMEs are trade-oriented, selling imported goods and not in production and industry where they can and should be. The objective of our trade policy is to improve competitiveness in domestic and international markets. We will therefore implement a trade policy that works for Ghana in creating jobs and is attractive and reassuring to the investor. Government and the private sector will establish a consistent dialogue to identify and address better the needs of our businesses and the economy. Our government will remove obstacles that prevent cheaper technology acquisition, discourage the importation of capital inputs, and limit production and access to markets. We will also focus on commercial diplomacy to open up markets for our goods and services. And we will transform the Tariff Advisory Board into an independent Ghana International Trade Commission to deal with international trade issues, including tariff and unfair trade practices. Ghana needs a tax regime that encourages trade and business to achieve maximum advantage from our natural resources. We will review tax laws to reduce costs of equipment and imported raw materials for manufacturing, health, ICT, housing, and other critical areas of the real economy. Furthermore, we would implement measures using a greater reliance on technology to improve the efficiency of the ports and enhance revenue collection at the same time. 4. Growing the private sector, growing your business. We in the NPP believe in the efficiency of the market economy. Therefore, our major responsibility will be to empower the private sector to be the driving force in a transformed economy to deliver wealth and jobs. We know that an efficient and dynamic private sector is key to sustaining economic growth and macroeconomic stability. We will therefore help Ghanaian enterprises to be competitive globally. We will reduce the overall cost of doing business and make Ghana attractive as an investment opportunity by streamlining bureaucracy, achieving macroeconomic stability, enabling, in partnership with the friends and allies of Ghana, access to affordable credit, reliable infrastructure, and a sound regulatory framework. Government will put its weight behind our private sector and make it the bedrock of our economy. This will enable our people build capacity and capital to grow their businesses and be competitive. Additionally, we shall embrace organized labor as partners in our transformation agenda. We will work to create a conducive partnership environment that will empower organized labor to contribute effectively and benefit commensurately in the transformation. Ghanaians living abroad have a role to play in transforming our economy. For too long, Ghana has suffered from the loss of many of its skilled people to other nations. We must reverse this trend and make Ghana a country where everybody wants to do business, so we retain our good people. We will encourage Ghanaians abroad to contribute skills and other resources to enhance our transformation program. 5. Strengthening the financial sector for economic transformation. Our financial infrastructure is inefficient and inadequate for a 21st century economy. There has been a loss of confidence in the banking industry, and less than 15% of Ghanaians have bank accounts. This means people cannot save, cannot borrow, and therefore cannot invest. Not only does this stifle economic activity, but it also excludes us from the global financial infrastructure as we battle with volatility in our own domestic economy. The rapid depreciation of the cedi and the way it has been addressed by the NDC government has eroded confidence in the financial sector and the Ghanaian cedi. The NPP government will implement financial sector reforms aimed at encouraging savings, deepening the capital markets to make affordable long-term finance available to businesses, and bringing efficiency in the way we transact business. We will therefore encourage the setting up of credit unions as an alternative to established banking institutions. We will also need to facilitate inclusion of the unbanked by the use of ICT and by encouraging mobile banking and growing online and telephone banking services. We will intensify our reforms to transform Ghana into a multi-platform of payments systems. To reduce the cost of banking, as well as increased competitiveness in the financial sector, we would encourage the setting up of credit unions for a variety of stakeholders such as teachers, nurses, service personnel, civil servants, etc. The non-profit nature of credit unions will mean lower cost services to their customers and lower interest rates to borrowers. We will also implement measures to anchor the fiscal and monetary policy framework to stabilize the exchange rate of the Ghana cedi and restore confidence of the business community in our currency. 6. Reforming public financial management to serve you. Lack of accountable and responsible public financial management creates a climate where leakage and corruption are rife. Under the NDC government, a failure of prudent public financial management has led to gross abuses, corruption, and severe inefficiency. We will implement reforms to address corruption and enhance efficiency in management of public finances. We will close the loopholes in the Public Procurement Act and the Financial Administration Act to ensure value for money and transparency in the award of contracts. We will strengthen the Auditor General's Department as well as the Controller and Accountant General's departments to make them more efficient agencies for governance and accountability. 7. Fiscal policy. Ghana's economic history has also been one with a history of fiscal crises, marked by weak public expenditure management, slow growth in the domestic revenue base, and dependency on foreign aid and debt financing. Ghana needs a fiscal policy regime that is transparent, consistent, and reliable and has all the necessary checks to prevent abuse. As the NPP, we are making a commitment to fiscal responsibility. This will be critical for our economic and development planning and will bring some discipline in our management of the public purse. We will implement a transparent and comprehensive tax policy that is designed to facilitate economic growth whilst also ensuring efficiency, responsibility, and accountability in government expenditure. In this regard, the NPP will introduce a Fiscal Responsibility Act to enforce the prudent management of Ghana's public finances. The NPP will set up a high-level commission of experts to undertake a comprehensive review of Ghana's tax system to promote the development of entrepreneurs, eliminate distortions, and maximize revenues from natural resource exploitation for sustainable development. At the heart of the problem of tax collection and the narrow tax base in Ghana is the highly informal nature of our economy. The NPP will move quickly to formalize the economy through the implementation of the National Identification Scheme, a system of street addressing, and move away from cash to electronic payments. With respect to public expenditure, the new NPP administration is committed to the completion of the single-spine salary structure initiated by the Kufuor administration to ensure fairness and equity in the public sector. In addition, we will vigorously pursue measures to streamline the government payroll system to eliminate the phenomenon of ghost workers. A new NPP administration will immediately review the Public Procurement Act 2003, Act 663, with a view to closing the loopholes that have led to a large proportion of contracts being awarded on sole sourcing and selective tendering basis. Ghanaian enterprises and businesses will play a lead role in public procurement.